Pretty big news for Path of Exile 2 today. They just announced in a trailer here, we'll let this run while we're talking about it. This was during the Sony PlayStation state of game or whatever they call it, the event, the PlayStation event. And during that event, they announced that not only is Path of Exile 2 coming to console, but it is also going to be couch co-op. It is going to be cross-play as well as cross-progression. So if you're familiar with Path of Exile 1, one of the problems with Path of Exile 1 is if you're playing on console, you're basically playing on different servers than on PC, and the patches don't come out at the same times, etc. But now that is no longer the case. You are going to be able to play Path of Exile 2 fully cross-play, fully cross-progression, and even cooler couch co-op. So if you have a buddy or a girlfriend or something and you want to play two controllers, same TV, they have couch co-op built into Path of Exile 2 now on the consoles, which for me is a pretty big W. Now, I myself have actually been invited down to test out these features. So I'll be flying down the 5th. On the 6th, I'll be testing them, flying back the 7th. So expect a video on this channel like the 8th or the 9th with footage of what this looks like, as well as an actual breakdown of, my opinion of how smooth it is, etc. So that will be coming out soon. Now, GameSpot got an exclusive trailer here for the official console deep dive here. So we're going to take a look at this and see actually what this footage looks like. I've not had a chance to see this yet. I'm hoping that when we go, we'll get to try the new classes. I myself played the Warrior last time. I've already tested it for the PC version.
We started working on Path of Exile 2 on console. We knew we had to do a much better job than we've done in the past. And Path of Exile 2 is a great game to do that with because the combat is so much more visceral and action-oriented. As soon as we tried it on a controller, all of those extra features that we did to make melee combat feel so much better just really came out and felt great. We've got a dedicated team for console now, and they were able to create a new user interface just for controller, and we're really excited to show it to you guys.
It's twin stick, so basically left stick is your movement, as you'd expect, and right stick is the directional control for your character, so it allows you to do things like run backwards and stuff like that.
This is going to be pretty useful because there's a character, the Warrior, that has a shield, and where you're actually aiming your shield based upon where your mouse was placed, this was the character I tested, was what side your shield is blocking. So actually having directional movement on the controller is probably going to be pretty good.
Overrides the auto-targeting, so it allows you to actually manually target enemies that are surrounding you, giving you much greater control. It works in combination with the keybinds. So we've got 24 keybinds that we have for the game, which sounds a bit daunting, but the way we're going to manage that is each skill that you gain is basically given a default bind, and then you can choose to override that if you want, if it's completely in the player's hands to choose where they want to bind the actual skills.
Oh, that's pretty good.
You have a lot of freedom with regards to your design of your build because that is the nature of the game, is that we need to allow that flexibility for players to create whatever they want to play.
Now, this looks like a different act. When I was playing and doing my testing, I was able to get through about Act 2. I wasn't able to test Act 3, 4, etc. in the in-game. So I'm hoping when we go down there, they're going to have more time available. We were only all allowed to play for about 4 hours, so I'm hoping we get more than that this time.
Inventory management for console, we've basically redesigned the whole menu system specifically for console. It's full screen. It provides you with a preview of your character, so you can actually see the full model of the character close up. But functionally, we still hold fidelity with the actual PC game. So inventory management is like you can pick up an item moving around and place it and equip it as usual. But we also provide shortcuts. So like there's a fast way to equip, there's a fast way to use an item in your inventory.
So when we're thinking about what would be a great reason to play Path of Exile on a couch, one of the things that we knew a lot of people would really enjoy was playing with their friends in co-op. This is actually a feature that a lot of games just don't bother with anymore.
I'm so glad he's mentioning this. I don't know what's happening, but it's like the reason I own a console is so I can play with somebody on the couch at the same time. Like that's the reason I own a console. I'm sure there's some exclusives you could play, etc. But for me, it's because I want to play with something in real life. A lot of games just don't even have this anymore, or games like you would think would be really good couch co-op games do not have it at all implemented. And you're like, this is a game that I literally only bought to play multiplayer, but now you'd have to own a second PlayStation or something. So I'm super glad they're adding couch co-op. This is a huge selling point for people.
But it's something that I really love personally. You can play through the whole game from beginning to end together, enjoying the story along the way. And one of the great things is that in Path of Exile 2, we have a lot more synergy between our classes. So if you're playing something different from your friend, you'll probably find a lot of ways to work together.
Oh, this looks great. So it's not split screen.
The addition of Couch Co-op was initially a bit of an experiment at first. And
maybe
then
it
we
is.
started to expand on it. We introduced like separate HUDs for each of the characters. And then once we got the camera system working with 2 characters,
okay,
it really
so
decided to kind of come together and play really
one
nicely.
screen.
So then we expanded on that by providing Couch Co-op players with panel versions of the full screen menus that I've spoken about.
Okay.
Which allowed us to have like simultaneous play with regards to
Oh, that looks good.
inventory management and adjusting your passive skill tree and stuff like that. It was really just an evolution of the original sort of single player game that actually turned into something pretty special.
That looks pretty clean. I love that they're not going split screen, that they're going the same screen.
So logging in with Couch Co-op is pretty straightforward. Like you log in as normal with single player, and then you can choose to log in second player as a guest on that account.
There you
or if
go.
you've got a friend who's a fan of the game as well, who also has an account, they can log in as a second player and have access to all of their content as well. So we've basically made it as flexible as possible to play any way you want to play. We're
It's a
really
lot
happy with
better
the
than I
addition
was
of it,
thinking.
and it's available on console and on PC as well. So it's on all available platforms. I'd say it's like integral to the main game now.
With Path of Exile 2, we're trying to introduce the game to a much larger audience, and that means that it's really important to make sure that all our mechanics are understandable. Path of Exile's kind of got a reputation as a game of complexity.
That's
and
true.
This is something we want to make sure that we're improving while also maintaining all the depth that we have. So we're making
He
sure...
shows the skill tree, like zoom out to show the players, don't worry, you still have the complex skill tree. But he's right, man. Path of Exile 1, the amount of times I've been told by people, it's like, I like watching you, but I don't want to play Path of Exile because the game is intimidating or it takes so long to learn. I don't have the time for it. I'm really hoping they get the balance right with this with PoE 2. When I tested it, they didn't really have the skill tree flushed out and ready. So I'm curious to see when I go test it this time if the skill tree is actually like more feasible for us to dig into and see the complexity behind it, because it wasn't really ready for me to look at in the first testing phase I did.
PoE 2, that we've got a lot more systems around giving you more information. Our item system, for example, it's certainly an area that had some complexity to it. Well, in PoE 2, we wanted to make sure there just weren't any hidden mechanics anymore, and so we've added a help system built into every hover. You get the press of a button, you can get help about what any stat does, and we found that that's really useful to the player
Nice.
experience.
That will be useful.
Path of Exile 2 has full cross-play and cross-progression. Cross-progression basically allows you to play your game on your PC, and then if you want to move to the couch and continue play, then you can. You can just switch on your PlayStation and continue playing.
Oh, this is getting me hyped.
It makes sense for us to release this on PC and consoles at the same time. The models we're supporting are PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series models.
People around their office have had a huge amount of fun on the console version of PoE 2, especially with the couch co-op.
So it's latest
We're
gen.
having a beta on console simultaneously with PC at the end of the year. And I'm really excited to see what you guys
Okay, beta end of the year for both platforms, PC and console. That's a big point there of information.
think.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to converting everyone to use a controller when they're playing Path of Exile 2.
All right, man. I'm going to fly down and test this. We got a buddy that's coming to test it with me. People that have been watching me a long time might know J Gigs. He's coming as well to test this game out with me. So we're going to have a 2-player couch co-op faux video breakdown of it coming to this channel. And I am super excited to see how good it is, because the first 4 hours I got to play of the game was really good. I mean, honestly, the boss fights were pretty phenomenal. So I'm hoping we get to play maybe some of the later acts, mess around with some more of the items, the crafting system, stuff like that. But I have an idea it's probably going to be a focus on the earlier side of the game, but this time just around the console. So we will see. Console Andes, the game's coming to your platform, and it's looking like it's going to be pretty good. So that's about it. I'll see you all on the live stream. You can subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when those other Path of Exile 2 videos come out. Have a wonderful day.